Hello friends! A fun fact about me is that I love fun facts. I consume fun facts like Professor Hotchkiss consumes chicken wings in large, cost-efficient quantities. With that in mind, here are 33 fun facts about the Nancy Drew games for the price of one video. I think I found a few facts which aren't common knowledge, so if you learned something new from this video, remember to give it a like, and if you enjoy this type of content, please do subscribe and comment. I found most of these fun facts through either the Nancy Drew wiki, Nancy Drew walkthroughs, or her interactive's social media accounts, all of which I will link below. Those that I heard from different sources I will credit when I talk about the specific fact. Going in no particular order, the very first fun fact I present for your perusal is about the curse of Blackmoor Manor. You're probably familiar with Jane Penvillin, one of the 5 suspects you encounter in the game. Jane is a normal 12-year-old child, obsessed with cute male actors, bored with her schoolwork, conducting archaic cult rituals in the middle of the night. However, although Jane is 12 years old, her voice actor, Connie Ellern, was actually in her 70s at the time she recorded her lines. There is a mistake in the cover art for Secret of the Old Clock. The titular clock on the game cover is marked with Roman numerals. However, whoever designed the clock obviously hasn't completed the Roman numerals puzzle in Ghost Dogs of Moon Lake without cheating. Instead of 12 being at the top of the clock, it's actually the number 13 in Roman numerals. But maybe it's intentional, and this is a clue that Nancy is trapped in some kind of George Orwell nightmare dystopia. You might think that the clock's Roman numeral for 4 is incorrect as well, as it's written with 4 I's instead of the more commonly accepted IV format. However, a lot of clocks and watches actually depict the Roman numeral for 4 this way, particularly older ones, so it's actually historically accurate. A lot of Nancy's friends' phone numbers contain secret messages. For instance, the last 4 digits of Bess's phone number, 4468, spell out the word hint, and 4357, the last 4 digits of Ned's, spell out help. The final scene starts out with Nancy's friend, Maya Wen, getting kidnapped.
Cross your fingers, there's a story behind this door.
Maya doesn't have a huge amount of lines in the game, but the part that she plays is undeniably important. However, the actor who voiced her is uncredited and is still unknown to this day. You, like myself, may have wondered what's in the locked drawer in Maddie's house in Stay Tuned for Danger. You don't come across a key for it in the course of the game, so for many years the contents of this drawer remained a mystery that not even Nancy could solve. A key was actually made for this locked drawer, but her interactive just forgot to include it in the final game. If you were able to open the drawer, you would see that it contains anonymous fan letters to Rick Arlen, secretly written by Maddie herself, trying to convince him to stay on Light of Our Love. If you watch my Legend of the Crystal Skull Let's Play, you will already know this next fun fact. I realized during my recent playthrough that in the painting of Henry Boulet's parents, the portrait of his mother is actually based on Irina Predovicu, the wood expert from Danger on Deception Island, which was released 4 years prior to Legend of the Crystal Skull. If I lived in Blackmoor Manor, I would be extremely tempted to just feed Lulu the parrot a deadly salami cake one night and be done with her, because that parrot just can't shut up. Honestly, how do they sleep? Most of the things that come out of Lulu's beak are pop culture references, the most obvious one being an homage to the movie Jaws.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
One of the more obscure ones, however, is a song that Lulu sings.
The time has come for closing books.
The name of the song is To Sir with Love, from the 1967 film of the same name, and sung by the Scottish singer Lulu. You know Shattered Medallion, the game the majority of Nancy Drew fans hate? Well, turns out there's one specific person to blame for this disappointing game. I'm referring to one unfortunate Nancy Drew fan who was randomly selected when they pre-ordered a copy of the deadly device. This fan had the opportunity to choose the location of the next Nancy Drew game from a list of locales, and they chose New Zealand. I don't really blame them, of course, but it does make me curious as to what the other locations were. I don't know if you've ever taken the time to examine all the different movie posters on the walls of the Royal Palladium Theatre in the final scene. They are a little hard to see considering the restricted point-and-click angles. However, if you look closely, you will see that they are all parodies of popular movies. For example, this poster, which you can also see in Secrets Can Kill Remastered, is a clear homage to a poster for the Disney film The Emperor's New Groove. There's no Lulu the Parrot to translate Latin for you in Mornings at Waverly Academy, so you might not know the meaning behind Waverly Academy's motto, Dignitas in Omnis. In English, this means dignity in all. In Danger on Deception Island, when you make a fatal error, a newspaper pops up with a humorous headline relating to your misfortune. The newspaper is called The Harbor Horn, and underneath the title is a small subheading stating that it's been serving Deception Island since 1939. Except it doesn't say island, it says silent. The biggest fatal error here is this disgraceful typo. Do you ever think about the Nancy Drew characters' lives after the events of the games? There's a hint to at least one pair's post-game activities in Ransom of the Seven Ships. On one of the beaches, there's a heart carved into a rock with the words Matt and Kyler Forever inscribed inside it, referencing two characters from the previous game, Haunting of Castle Malloy. The events of that game led up to Matt and Kyler's wedding. This reference seems to be a hint that Matt and Kyler spent their honeymoon on Dread Isle. I hope they had a nicer time than Nancy. Multiple number 13s are hidden in the cover art for The Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon, the 13th game in the franchise. I counted 5, let me know if you see more. While Midnight in Salem, the most recent game, was in production, the team at Her Interactive shared a few pieces of behind-the-scenes info, some of which differed from the final product. For example, Olivia Ravencroft was originally called Jenna Ravencraft. Even more intriguing, however, is the original name for Lauren Holt. Lauren Corey. This led fans to speculate that she was related to Ingrid Corey, the engineer from the Haunted Carousel. Obviously, however, her name changed before the game released, so either Her Interactive decided to change her backstory, or this was an unintentional connection that they hadn't thought of prior to announcing her name. The next fun fact I only realized because of the Boozy Broads, who have a wonderful YouTube channel where they're playing all of the Nancy Drew games, which I will link below. During their Let's Play of Phantom of Venice, they pointed out that all the makeup in Nancy's bag is based on real makeup brands, such as Bobbi Brown and MAC. Did you know there's a connection between Blackmoor Manor and Stay Tuned for Danger? On the surface, they are two drastically different games, but they do have one thing in common: Linda Penvelin. In Blackmoor Manor, she's the mysterious figure behind the bed curtain who refuses to let Nancy see her, but you can still see pictures of her on the wall of her room and attached to Nancy's opening letter. This same woman is seen in a magazine in Maddie's house in Stay Tuned for Danger. The next fun fact is more of a fun Easter egg, but I didn't find out about it until I was researching for this video, so I don't think it's very well known. In Secret of the Old Clock, in Emily Crandall's room, there's a picture on the wall which Nancy can straighten. If you are overcome with a perfectionist urge and straighten the picture multiple times, the picture will actually speak up and say, "I'm just tickled pink," a slang term that originates from around 1910 and means "I'm pleased." There are quite a few differences between the original Secrets Can Kill and the remastered version, but one of the less noticeable ones are the numbers on Hulk's football jersey. In the original 1998 game, his shirt has the numbers 00 on it, but in the remastered version, the number was changed to 80. This was in honor of Nancy Drew's 80th anniversary in 2010. In The Captive Curse, the castle that Nancy stays at is called Castle Finster. Finster means dark in German. Treasure in the Royal Tower introduces the character of Ezra Wickford, who is known for being the inventor of chocolate milk. However, that's not the only thing he invented in the Nancy Drew universe. If you look closely at the wrapper of a Cocoa Kringle bar, the most popular candy bar in the game, you will see that it is made by the Wickford Snack Company. Additionally, all the snacks featured in Trail of the Twister are also made by the Wickford Company. In Stay Tuned for Danger, the character of Millie Strathorn, the eccentric prop master / studio head, is based on Mildred Millie Wirt Benson, the original ghostwriter for the Nancy Drew books. Mildred Wirt Benson was actually still alive when Stay Tuned for Danger released in 1999, but she passed away a few years later in 2002. You might already know that Ransom of the Seven Ships was sort of an anniversary game for Her Interactive, being the 20th game in the Nancy Drew series. This being the case, there are a lot of references to past games, such as the Haunting of Castle Malloy Easter egg I mentioned earlier. Some of these references are a bit more subtle than a giant rock, though. Johnny Roll, the game's enigmatic and controversial beach bum, can show Nancy an item he found while metal detecting, an item which Nancy describes as looking familiar. This item is actually one of the keys from Secret of Shadow Ranch. Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon is also a special game, as it was released the same year as the 75th anniversary of the Nancy Drew books. To make this game extra special, Her Interactive brought in the Hardy Boys to aid Nancy in her investigation. The boys will mention to Nancy that they're part of an organization called American Teens Against Crime, or ATAC. This reference is actually a tie-in to the Undercover Brothers series, which released the same year and replaced the original Hardy Boys book series. Another fun translation fact for you: Kapu, as in Creature of Kapu Cave, means forbidden in Hawaiian. Did you know that the Nancy Drew games have a connection to Fortnite, the popular battle royale game which is probably as different from the Nancy Drew games as it's possible to be? The lead writer for Fortnite, Nick Blahanka, wrote 13 Nancy Drew games before moving on to write for the online shooter. Where's the Fatima Fortnite skin, huh, Nick? Lisa, the journalist from Treasure in the Royal Tower, is constantly snuggled up by the fire, reading, which is exactly what I would be doing with my time if I stayed at Wickford Castle. If you look closely at the magazine she's reading, you can see the article she's been looking at is actually a picture of her, sitting in her armchair by the fire. You might have been so distracted trying to break into the drawer on Maddie's desk and Stay Tuned for Danger that you never noticed the picture on top of it. It's one of the delightfully cheesy images in this game, which photoshops one of the Play-Doh-looking character models into a picture with real people. But this one is special. The people in this photograph are all Her Interactive employees. Although it's named after the first Nancy Drew book, the game of Secret of the Old Clock actually borrows elements from 4 Nancy Drew books: Secret of the Old Clock, The Hidden Staircase, The Bungalow Mystery, and Secret of Lilac Inn. Her Interactive frequently reuse assets in their games to save time and money. The most interesting example of this is the Ten Raven Pub from The Silent Spy, which is very clearly based on the Screaming Banshee Inn from The Haunting of Castle Malloy. Another reused asset in the games was pointed out by Reddit user Nuggets of Chicken. Lisa Ostrom from Treasure in the Royal Tower and Brady Armstrong from the subsequent game, The Final Scene, must go to the same hairdresser, as they have the exact same haircut, down to the erratically cut baby bangs. The next fun fact I learned from the Nancy Drew Times Instagram page. They also have a fantastic YouTube channel, and I will link both in the description. A prominent part of the Captive Curse is the card game Raid, which Carl uses Nancy to playtest. If you look closely at the cards, all the backgrounds are taken from scenes in past Nancy Drew games. Several voice actors for the games have voiced multiple characters. For example, Amy Broomhall voiced Mary Yazzie in Secret of Shadow Ranch, but also Mrs. Drake, Fatima, and J.J. Ling. Stephen Hando, the voice behind Dave Gregory, everyone's favorite handsome cowboy, is also the voice behind Nigel Mukherjee and Dieter von Schwesterkrank. One of the most prolific is Jonah von Spreeken, who is most known for voicing Frank Hardy from Danger by Design onwards. Along with Frank, he also voiced Harlan Bishop, Shorty Thurmond, Bill Kessler, and Colin Baxter, among others. Fun fact! This is the end of the video! Comment below your favorite fun fact from the Nancy Drew games, and remember to like and comment if you enjoyed.